What's up? It's your boy Dynastamir. At the end of this video, make sure you go to www.dynastamir.com. Check out our indigenous African art, jewelry, accessories, and fashion. Also go to searchforhuru.com and make sure you learn more about the documentary we're shooting and also contribute towards the documentary. And last but not least, make sure you go to Amazon.com, search your name Dynastamir, buy a book. I wrote them. This phone is vibrating, it's going crazy. Let me put it over here. Go to Amazon.com, search your name Dynastamir, buy a book. I wrote them, so purchase one. I'm sure you will love it, or love them and your children as well, because I've written a number of children's books. Wanted to shoot this video on. Woke up this morning, went to Google to search for something, and noticed that Steve Biko has his own doodle with Google, which is awesome. But at the same time, I was thinking to myself, and just the way, and just said to myself, the way the so-called conscious community has defamed his legacy. What do I mean by that? Steve Biko is the one that coined or came up with the term conscious or consciousness. And the shenanigans that the conscious community here in America takes part in, or the so-called conscious community, because they refer to them as the conscious community, the shenanigans that they partake in is an embarrassment to Steve Biko's legacy, is an embarrassment to Steve Biko's family. And with that being said, Google has more respect for the Google has more respect for Steve Biko than the damn conscious community itself, which is a shame. The so-called conscious community that stole the term consciousness or conscious from Steve Biko has no respect for Steve Biko, but Google has more respect for Steve Biko. I mean, you have people in the so-called conscious community that call themselves conscious that, I'm not African, I'm a Moorish, Hebrew, Israelite, Moor from Morocco, but I'm not African though. You have people in the conscious community walking around looking like Shonuv on The Last Dragon, saying they hate Africans because Africans allegedly sold us into slavery, but everybody else is cool, and that they're not African, even though if you ask them where's Israel, that they will admit. A lot of Hebrew Israelites that I come in contact with, they say that Israel is part of Africa, but they're not African, or that Israel was once part of Africa, but they're not African. A lot of these people are more dark-skinned than me, more nappy hair nappier than mine or yours, if you're black and you're watching this, but refuse to claim to be African, but instead say that they're Hebrew Israelites, when the term Hebrew and Israelite is a European term. But that's another video. So you have that going on. You have people in the so-called conscious community that are running scams, talking about get your correction status and your UCC status, and the last 4 digits of your social security number is tied to the bank at the Federal Reserve, and you have all access to all this money and all this other crap, stealing people's money in the name of consciousness, and then moving to Beverly Hills and saying that they're no longer consciousness, or they're no longer here to support black people and all this other stuff. That's what the conscious community is doing here in America. You have people telling you that the solutions to the black community is through alkaline, or conscious people here in America telling you that the solutions to the black community, the issues can be solved through alkaline water and couscous and kale wraps. Expensive ass alkaline water, couscous and kale wraps. That is what the conscious community here in America is up to. You have all these pointless debates. They regurgitate information that they learn in prison from sources and books that they refuse to cite, that they plagiarize like hell, and they call themselves conscious. People in the conscious community refuse to acknowledge any other civilization outside of Kemet or Egypt, like they don't exist. You know, the list goes on and on. So this is what the conscious, so-called conscious community, who stole the term from Steve Biko, this is what they're up to here in America. And the thing about it is, out of all these so-called conscious debates that I hear or listen to, none of them bring up or give thanks to Steve Biko. None of them. Except for one. I heard one guy, King Noble, who actually acknowledged Steve Biko. Outside of that, none of them, they call themselves conscious, but they refuse to acknowledge Steve Biko. So I just want to apologize on behalf of the conscious community, even though I don't, really claim to be a part of the conscious community. I want to apologize to the Biko family in South Africa for the buffoonery that goes on in the name of consciousness here in America. The scams that are ran, the information that's plagiarized, the false information, the fake information, the so-called criminals that, use consciousness as a scam and scam people who might be, interested in learning what true consciousness is. So with that being said, if you want to know what consciousness is, start with Steve Biko, because he's the one that coined the term consciousness. Start with Steve Biko. Don't go to Kemet. Don't go to a couscous kale wrap sandwich, alkaline water. Don't go to Morocco or be a Moor. Don't, be a Hebrew Israelite. Start with Steve Biko, because out of respect to the Biko family and Steve Biko, he's the one that coined the term consciousness. So if you want to know if you want to learn consciousness and know what consciousness is, start with Steve Biko. Follow me on social media. Search for Huru on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and Facebook. Donnie Samir. Till next time, I'm out.